Hello, welcome to this episode of Hypnotist Bernie's Exposition. For those of you who are wondering, who is this beautiful lady sitting next to me?
Aww, Bernie.
She's the one and only Dianna. Now, I know a lot of you have not seen Dianna in a while.
Jeez, in like 5 minutes. You can't call. No calling.
No calling.
617-876-0055. And Bernie's just going to hang up on you.
No, I don't even know how to do this. Yeah.
You know what's weird?
What?
I'm more comfortable in that seat. Because
really?
like now, instead of looking at the camera, I was looking up there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had to remind myself.
Okay.
There's the camera.
Okay.
And you know what I forgot to do?
What did you forget
to tell people on my show.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I have to press it.
We gotta start over. Sorry, folks. Oh, this is Dianna. Oh, this is Bernie. Bernie's Exposition.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, is that like Bernie exposing himself?
Right, no.
Is that like...
No. Like World Expo?
I get that, but like...
Yeah, it's not like a bunch of nudists walking around.
Right, but it could be
Montreal.
that. Yeah. It could be... Right, it could be exposing yourself.
Right.
But it also could be like exposing, like showing your vulnerabilities.
Well, exposition is like, showing
Exposition?
demonstration,
Right, but isn't exposing yourself showing too?
What's that?
Isn't exposing yourself also a form of
showing?
showing?
There's many ways to interpret that. And it all depends on how you look at the show. Okay. So what would you like to talk about?
We can talk about anything, but
all right.
We have Russian spies. We have birth control for men. I mean, there's a multitude of things that we could, in the heat. Do you have air conditioning?
Yes. I recently acquired a refrigerator.
An air conditioner, not a refrigerator. You even drink your hot coffee. He drinks his coffee. You know what? There's a sign somewhere that says you're not supposed to have drinks in this little place. Look at Bernie. Breaking the rules. You know what? If you watched my show, Bernie needs to get a moving violation for bringing coffee.
I don't see no coffee here. Do you see any coffee? No.
Did you hear the story? Were you watching my show when I talked about I got a ticket?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, I don't want to take up a lot of your time.
We have all night here, right?
So, I'm driving on Route 2
in
the far right lane on my cell phone. It was about 9:30 at night. Maybe it was a little later than that. But and there was a car in the breakdown lane that had been pulled over by a police vehicle. At the time, I didn't know it was a state trooper.
Right.
So I slowed down. I wasn't speeding at all, but I slowed down because there's somebody. I'm always aware. I don't want to hit the guy.
Right.
Anyway, so he pulled me over.
Right.
Apparently, there's some law that if you are in a lane and then whatever lane the emergency personnel has pulled over somebody or is treating somebody or whatever the hell,
Right.
You have to go to the next lane over there.
Oh, really?
So you have to move over. Do you drive?
I thought you were supposed to just slow down.
I did slow down, but apparently that's not good enough.
That's not good enough. Huh?
It's not good enough anymore. So I got a freaking $100 ticket.
Oh yeah, are you gonna fight it?
Yes, because I don't care about the $100 ticket because now I have a job. It's a moving violation.
Oh, yeah.
You get a surcharge. It's probably a couple $100 on your insurance for 6 years.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that little SHIT.
Okay.
I felt like it was not Shiite. Oh, he's a Muslim.
Oh.
Is that a Muslim? Is a Shiite a Muslim? Yeah. Okay, SHIITE.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get an extra I and an extra E.
Okay.
Or you have an E. So anyway, I just thought, why couldn't he have just given me a warning? I mean, I already wet myself. I already peed my pants. I mean, I was having a heart attack.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? You don't even sound like a therapist tonight.
I'm trying to get into it.
You don't even sound like a therapist.
Okay, Tell me more.
No. I think I told you enough. I mean, I think I went over the line when I said I wet myself. Isn't that isn't that exposing yourself?
Well,
was vulnerable.
How does that make you feel?
How does it make me feel? I was furious, Bernie.
Okay.
Furious. And you know what? I actually wanted to cry because I just thought, how could he do that? Why couldn't he have just chastised me? I would have been better off if he gave me 30 lashes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Don't okay me.
For the process, all this,
You know what? You need to go back to therapist school.
Well, there's a lot of information.
How is that a lot of information?
There's a lot of bladder
control issues. Yeah.
There's SM issues like
What's
the
SM?
whipping.
Oh, S&M. Yeah. I didn't say I liked it. I said I would have been better off.
You're better off. Okay.
Right.
But which one would be your preference?
Well, not really. But did he have to give me the ticket?
Okay.
I guess apparently I'm still upset about this. But we can talk about something else. What's going on? I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Yeah. What's with your new job? Tell us about that.
Well, I don't want to say what. It's sort of in nursing, but not really.
Okay.
So I don't have to take care of patients anymore.
Okay,
it's not in
great.
a hospital. It's in a company.
That's great.
And it's close by. I don't have to, I hate the 7 to 3 shift. I don't have to work the 7 to 3 shift. I don't have to work holidays. I don't have to work weekends.
Okay, that's great.
So it's delicious. And it'll be a lot of using my mind, which you do in nursing too, but there's not, like, in nursing you have a lot of tasks.
Okay.
You keep saying, okay. Do something.
Is that better?
That's better. That's better. So it's exciting, I guess. But you know what? I have loved my time off. I have to tell you, I have loved this time. What? Somebody else more important than me? I'm actually in the room.
Looking at the camera, man. That's what I'm supposed to do.
I just felt like I should at least acknowledge our 2 or 3 viewers out there.
Right, yeah.
Right? So anyway, excuse me, I'm a little congested. I hate this weather.
Okay.
I hate this weather. You know, I remember what's up with the tie? You got the blue going on. Is this a good tie? We used to talk about your ties. Let me see the brands, because we've talked, it was this,
Blue, from Italy.
Ferrando? Gianni Ferrando.
There you go.
Who is that?
It's some famous
It's a nice tie.
Yeah.
You know, I think I would have worn it with a different shirt, but the tie's nice.
Thanks.
It's a really
it reflects the kind of mood you're in.
No. I think the blue on blue is nice, but it's a really nice, it's a nice tie. It really is.
Great.
It's got a lot of things going on, even though it doesn't look it.
That's true. It's very subtle.
It's very subtle.
Yeah. It's like a masterpiece.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's like Vincent Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. Yeah, go. Yeah, go in the van. Van Gogh. But what do you think about those Russian spies?
To tell you the truth, I haven't read enough about it.
Have you read any about it?
Mr. Putin was not happy about that.
Mr. Putin was not happy, but I think they're saying, the Russians are saying, no, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. So you know what the name of it was? It was like it was like a sting operation.
Right.
And I wrote it down. I'd have to get my book. It's called Illegals. Sorry, folks. Look right to the page. It's called Illegals Program. That was the sting operation.
Okay.
So there were 11 spies.
Right.
And 8 of them, because that's even number.
Right.
Were either pretending to be married couples or they actually were married couples.
Okay.
And they took up jobs or they got connected with people like in think tanks and government agencies or whatever, so that they could find out information. I mean, I don't know, but they arrested 11 people. 11. And one was actually I just read this, in Cyrus, was it Cyrus? Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cyrus?
Yeah.
And they're keeping that person there until they get extradited to the United States. It's very exciting, but the 2 of them were up the street on Trowbridge, I don't know, your Trouser Bridge, I don't know. Right up the street. Is that exciting or what?
Oh yeah, that's great.
And I just thought, I can't even believe that Cambridge people actually let them get arrested.
Okay.
Because I really thought you get amnesty when you come here. That's why I live in Cambridge.
For spying?
No, because you can do anything in Cambridge.
Okay.
Live and let live.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
No matter what you want, you can be whomever you want to be.
Okay.
In Cambridge.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
That's
so then the spies should be left alone, I think.
Okay.
Right? Don't they have rights?
They do have rights.
I'm sure in some sort of Cambridge Constitution, right? There's some article, Chapter 75, Article 12, that says spies.
We should invite them on the show,
I think they're in jail right now.
As soon as they get a break from jail.
Well, I don't know about that because
they
they were arrested by the FBI.
Okay.
They're kind of important. I think they're, you have the local police and then you have the state troopers.
Right.
And I think the FBI are kind of up there on the food chain.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think they're going anywhere. I got a feeling they're not going anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I know about Spygate.
But as soon as they got out of jail, you know.
Yeah, they're going to come right on your. You're right.
is
They're going to come right.
It's the first to explain, at least explain to us, you know.
Honey, I think they're going to be on the Mass Pike, putting their thumbs up to get out of Dodge. Okay, and that's what they're going to be doing. Or they're going to go to Logan, and go somewhere. But anyway, what time? You want to do something? You want to hypnotize me? Or you want to talk?
How's your sport playing?
Well, Bernie, I needed you over the wintertime. I was in a slump.
Oh yeah.
I had no confidence, but I think part of that was because I was on a team with people who had no confidence in me. And now I feel like I got my confidence back.
Great.
So, you know what I did? I need help with softball. Are you good with softball?
I can try.
Because you helped me with football.
Right.
How
they're both balls.
They're both, but they're different.
Okay. They look different.
But listen to this.
Okay.
Maybe you can help me with this, because this is the problem. You know, you don't know football, right?
I know football.
I kind of taught you a little bit.
Yeah.
So with football, you get this like spiral brown ball coming at you.
Right. And you're supposed to dodge.
You're supposed to what?
Dodge?
Dodge? No, honey. You're supposed to go in and catch it.
All right.
So whether you're on offense, when your team has possession of the ball, or you're on defense, when your team wants possession of the ball, right? Because having the ball, you can score, right? So when you're on offense, you want to catch the ball, and when you're on defense, you do want to catch the ball. You want to block the defenders, the offense. But when I play softball, I have that same instinct, and that's not good.
You tackle some guy?
Yes. So when people are playing catch, my instinct is to run in there and try to intercept the ball. But you don't do that. That's not what you do.
Okay.
So
this is more relaxed in softball.
It's a little, and my aggression comes out, but you still have to be assertive and aggressive.
Right.
So what I need help in is I'm afraid of the softball.
Okay.
Because you know what? Between you and me and anybody who's listening, it's not soft. The football, which is a much more aggressive sport,
it's not played by the foot.
It's not played by the foot, it's played by the hand.
Yeah, and the softball.
But
I see the similarity in this.
There's some similarity, but the softball is not. It's not gentle. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to get hurt by it.
Okay.
So, I'm nervous. I have a lot of anxiety that the ball is going to come at me.
Okay.
When I'm out in the outfield.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know. And sometimes it lands in the glove, and sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know what would you do for somebody like that?
Well, first keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah, so I did that, Bernie. Look what that got me.
It doesn't come as a surprise.
I do keep my eye on the ball.
Okay.
How do you know so much about sports?
I just do.
Okay, so keep my eye on the ball, but how do I get over that fear so that I can not blink when it's coming
When
out?
was the last time that it has become a problem for you?
Thursday night, when I got the ticket. And it wasn't so bad, but it's there. The thing is, it's not my sport. I haven't played it as much as football.
Okay.
And I think if I played it a few more years, the anxiety would go down. But listen, I don't have a lot of football and softball years left in me. So we need to speed up the process. A little rapido.
Okay.
You got it?
So
it's the anxiety. Remember one time we talked about that?
Right.
Do you remember?
A little bit.
You don't remember. Let me remind you.
You remember. What did you refresh our memory?
I think there was something with that, like that I needed to relax, or there was something.
Right.
You did something.
Right.
I think you gave me like. What is it, peyote or what is it, that drug? Hallucinogenic? No, but I think that we did a show because you were a much better therapist then. Because you're laughing. You're laughing at me.
I'm laughing with you.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Try to be in the same energy level.
Right, but I came in and I think my energy was high.
Right.
And you assessed the situation accurately.
Okay.
And you filtered out all the extraneous stuff. And you basically said, you need to freaking chill out, sister.
Right.
Right? Okay. And then you did something. You waved your magic wand. You sprinkled some fairy dust on me.
That was on tape, yes.
It was on tape,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And we're in Cambridge, so fairy dust is appropriate. Oh, that was bad. Probably somebody's going to call
Oh,
in.
okay.
Oh, please, turn the channel off. If your kids are at the table, shut it off.
So
Was
much
that
for so much for wanting to publish it.
You can edit it.
Yes. Beep.
Technical
technical
difficulties.
Okay, go back to the last time you experienced that anxiety. It doesn't come to you all the time, right?
No, but I'm wondering if it's always there, and then something just spikes it. Like
Well, let's look at the evidence.
What's the evidence?
How often do you experience that?
The anxiety?
Right. It doesn't start at the beginning of the game, right?
No. When I play football, on big games, I have anxiety.
Okay, let's focus on softball.
Right, because it doesn't stop me there. It used to, but I'm
Okay.
fine. But when I have softball, like when I get up at bat, right, I'm anxious, but it doesn't hit me until the third time I'm up at bat.
Okay.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Okay.
So I'm up at bat the first time. I'm up at bat the second
I
time.
thought it is only when you catch it.
No, it's both.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really throwing you a curveball. But then if I have to go out in the field, that's what it
Okay.
is. I can catch. I'm a catcher. That's my position. But sometimes they throw me out in right field,
Okay.
and I get nervous. And sometimes when I'm catching, and I'm really killing you, they're going to throw a ball home. I'm nervous that when the ball's coming at me.
Okay.
I kind of have a freak out period in my
How
head.
often does that happen?
Every time that happens. Yeah,
Okay.
every time that happens.
How would you describe that sensation?
Holy friggin' poop. The ball is coming at me. One time though, when I was in right field, I actually
But
caught
that doesn't describe.
Oh, I hate when you do this. It drives me friggin' nuts.
You don't have all day here, man.
Okay. Is
Unless
this
you want
right?
to come back next week.
I'm standing there. Even when I'm catching, I'm thinking, okay, I'm catching, right? Somebody gets on first base, fine. Somebody gets on second base. When they get on second base, then I start to feel anxious. My stomach feels a little butterfly-ish.
Okay.
Okay, I start to lose focus a little bit because I know if they're on second base, they're going to get to third and then
Okay.
they're going to go home.
Okay.
And then I'm under pressure. Then
So
I'm under
it's
pressure.
not really the ball that.
No, it is, because then I know that if they're running home and the ball goes to the outfield, they're going to throw the ball to me to expect me to tag out the
But
person.
it wasn't the ball coming in at you.
It is
at
the ball coming.
100 miles per hour.
Yes.
That is frightening.
Yes.
But the frightening started before
Okay, I see what you're getting
the
at.
ball got thrown into.
Because I know the ball's coming.
Right.
If the person's coming, the ball's coming.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
It's the ball, Bernie. I'm telling you, it's the ball.
Right.
Because the person is just like,
How was your catching? Were you
it can
able
be
to
very
catch?
good,
Okay.
yes, but sometimes I get so nervous that I don't open my glove wide enough, or I let the ball go by me because I'm afraid that it's going to hurt me. Because it's not a softball.
I think we have established that
Okay?
10 minutes ago. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Describe your bodily sensation.
well, the pee is running down my leg. Is that what you want?
That's more
It's
like
warm.
That's more
It's
like a
warm.
reaction.
I think my mouth probably gets dry.
Okay.
How's that? Is that
But
good?
you
My
don't
heart
really-
starts to race.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. That's one.
I
out
get a
of
little
three.
sweaty.
Okay.
Is that good enough?
Okay.
How's that? My eyes dilate.
Pupil dilate.
Pupils dilate.
Yeah. Okay.
How's that?
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. Heart racing, sweaty, dry mouth, dilation of the pupils.
How do you catch the ball when there's no pressure?
I'm fine.
So you're not afraid of the ball. So you're not worried. So the worry is not the ball is going to hurt you.
Oh, it's under pressure. Yeah. Yeah, but it does. I don't know. I feel like I have more control when you're just playing catch.
Okay.
And maybe it could be the pressure. So somebody can whip the ball at me when I'm just playing catch and I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay?
So you have no fear of the balls.
Oh, I guess I thought I did have a fear of the ball, but apparently I don't. You're on the ball, Bertie.
Let's end this gracefully right now.
Take the ball and run with it.
Right,
Just run
right,
with it.
Right. Okay. So it's the same. I guess you're right. It goes back to the way you play football.
In what way?
It's the pressure mounts
Yeah.
as the play goes on, and the thoughts start racing,
Yeah.
and you're thinking way ahead of the game, right?
Right.
Right. And
Right.
and the only thing you need to do at any point of the game is to play your role, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
just catch the ball
Yeah.
or swing the bat, right?
Right.
And as an athlete, you have lost that focus.
Right.
And in order for you to be a better athlete in softball, in this particular case, is to say to yourself, a ball is just a ball, right?
A cigar is
Yeah.
just a cigar. But could we speed it up? I got a game next week.
7:52.
Is that not enough time? And you know what? No, that's all right. It's not important. Not important.
What were you going to say?
No, I was gonna say. I think. I don't like. I don't know if I can't exactly say that I'm feeling nervous now. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? But I don't know. But I mean, I could get to that place where, if I had to think about, there are times, and I know we're talking about softball, but it probably happens. There are times when I'm like getting ready for a football game,
Right.
and I'm imagining
Okay.
playing and the ball coming to me. I swear to God, I can feel my adrenal glands
Okay.
release the adrenaline.
Okay.
And then I feel my pulse. This is in front of the mirror, fixing my hair. And I can feel my pulse racing.
Wow.
Seriously.
It seems to have your mind focused on glands today.
Apparently, yes. It's a glandular day.
Well, we
Isn't
can.
that interesting?
It's 7:54.
You have enough time to hypnotize me, or you want to just shoot?
So we have about like 4 minutes. We can do something really quickly, right?
That was funny.
Yeah.
I just self-hypnotized myself.
You just did.
It's going to be hard, Bernie, because I got adrenaline coursing through my veins. Can you do this?
3 minutes left. All right.
Do you have enough time? You don't have enough time.
All right. Just close your eyes, right?
Okay. I'm going to try to relax.
Just try to relax. Okay. I want you to first picture yourself practicing softball with your friends. There's no pressure. Imagine that right now. Good. Now feel the sensation that you feel and the way you focus and how you catch the ball. And feel the ball coming in and getting inside your glove. And can I touch your hand right now? I'll just feel the ball inside your gloved hand right now. That's right. And understand that it is just the ball that you're holding on. And in game time, you realize that you can perform the same action with the same kind of focus. That's right. Now just focus holding on the ball. Imagine the ball is in your palm right now. That's right. Carrying this sensation, now I want you to imagine yourself in game time. It is a critical moment, and you know that your performance counts. The teammates are counting on you. Imagine this right now. Good. Now I want you to just have the same kind of focus that you experienced a minute before. Use the same kind of focus that you had when you were practicing with your friends, when there's no pressure. Now back to game time. You see the ball coming down at you. Just look at the ball. You're totally focused on the play, the same way that you were focused as you practiced. That's right. Now feel your hand catching the ball right now. That's right. Just squeeze the ball tightly and feel that ball inside your hand. That's right. Now just take a moment and focus yourself and center yourself on that positive, calming, and happy sensation. That's right. You know you can do it. You know you're a good athlete. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I reach number 3, you can open your eyes, feeling great. 1, 2, 3, eyes open. There! That's great. Alright, join me next week. Hypnotist Bernie Exposition. CCTV Channel 9.